Hello and welcome to Go Ballistic, the Scottish Suns look back at the Premiership weekend. I'm Roger Hanna, with me as ever, Sun Sports Kris Boyd. Boyd, it's great to see you home. What a week you've had. Dens Park on Thursday night, Dingwall on Saturday, Aberdeen on Sunday. You have put in more miles than the Just Eat delivery driver that brings your food. What a weekend you've had.
Unbelievable, Roger. But I tell you, the worst part of the weekend was listening to Robert Grieve all the way up, recording videos. Oh, look at that snow, look at that, how cold it is. Absolutely boring. Other than that, I didn't really... I mean, obviously Celtic ran out comfortable winners in the Highlands, but I mean, yesterday, wasn't the best of games, was it? But where are we starting? The Highlands?
What about Celtic? Leaders 15 points clear. They went to Dingwall -7, I think, at kick-off time. Not a great pitch, but they got the job done again and in a bit of style at the end.
To be fair, Roger, the pitch was actually okay. I mean, it did cut up towards the end, but considering, the way the weather had been and what you would have expected from it, it was fine. I think Celtic, that's the difference, though. I mean, even when they're not playing at their best, yes, they created chances, yes, they missed chances, but they just find a way to win games of football. They just keep going, they're relentless, keep going, and eventually find a way to win the game. That's the Kyogo, obviously, gets a couple of goals, but he could quite easily have had 3 or 4. McCowan with the fourth, Engels with a penalty kick. I thought that Yang in the left-hand side, obviously with a shortage of wingers that Celtic have got, and Brendan Rodgers changed it, because you usually see him playing with that front three with one striker and 2 wide players. Yes, Kyogo kind of drifted towards whatever side Yang wasn't on, but I thought it was a decent afternoon for Yang. He would have been obviously looking to go on the score sheet and that, but no, I thought he contributed well to Celtic's victory. Kyogo, the ball in for Alistair Johnston. I mean, unbelievable cross. Kyogo, great movement, finish. Yeah, the header could have done a lot better. But another talking point was the Alistair Johnston challenge at the back post. I know my big friend wasn't for taking me on there, but I think obviously denying a goal scoring opportunity and Dogzo and no attempt to play the ball. That was interesting, shall we say? But nobody want to speak about it. We'll move on.
What about Yang? Because Celtic went there without Maeda, Kuhn, Forrest, Palma. Looks as if Louis Palma may be heading for Rayo Vallecano. Is Yang beginning to build a bit of momentum towards pushing Kuhn and Maeda for a start?
He's going to have to, because when you say it, and Forrest is out for a number of weeks now as well. So Brendan Rodgers is limited in that in those areas. There's no doubt. I mean, we've read reports that he's looking to get a couple in. I would be astonished if one of them isn't a wide player. I mean, if Palma goes out the door, which it looks as if is going to happen, he will want to get another wide player in. Forrest, what was that, 6 to 8 weeks, they reckon he was going to be out. Maeda, I think the intensity Maeda plays that as well. That it's difficult to replicate that every 3-4 days. So I mean, if there's one person can do it, it's Maeda, that's for sure. But I think when you keep going, especially the longer you go into the season, Champions League will be back as well. So but I mean, I don't know. It's not like Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, as we spoke about there, he does like that front three, the 2 wide players. But he might be onto something with Ida and Kyogo as well. Ida's these chances. I don't think he's not really taking the chances in terms of the games he started in that. But I mean, I thought he's flicked for the first goal on Saturday to release Callum McGregor was a bit of quality. And the more games he plays, if he can build up that connection with Kyogo, they might just want to something. And I'm not saying that. I mean, Brendan Rodgers won't change his principles in terms of and the formation he wants to play. But there might be games, especially at home for Celtic, when they can say, you know what, we're going to go with 2 strikers.
What about Kyogo? There was that mad story last week. Atlanta United had to apologise. MLS had to apologise for putting Kyogo up as a new signing on their website. I don't know whether Ronnie Dyla and Kenny Miller were just wishful thinking, Boyd. You've been over there with Portland Timbers. Can you see clubs over there wanting Kyogo, and B, surely Celtic couldn't let him go at the minute when they're still in Europe and they're chasing a treble?
Roger, it's a bit of a strange one for me. Like, I mean, where did it come from? Like, in terms of, and I know they said it was, it was. I mean, it was the wrong player that announced it. I get that, but you look at Kyogo and Celtic. One thing they've been very good at is getting a level of performance out of their players, and then get them to a stage when they can move them on. Kyogo's probably just getting to that stage right now where they will be able to command a decent transfer fee for him. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think Celtic can't afford to lose him. I mean, they can't afford to lose him. I don't think Adam Ida is the man to replace Kyogo. If Brendan Rodgers decides that it's time to move Kyogo on, he will need to go into the transfer market again. There's not a lot of strikers out there, especially at the level of what Kyogo has performed since he's arrived at Celtic. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where Brendan Rodgers and Celtic will be with the whole thing, because if he has to move on, then you would have to get somebody in. It's going to cost a lot of money to do that, and they won't want to lose him. But at the same time, Celtic have got that. The way they operate, they'll get players in and they'll move them on, and they'll look to make the squad younger. And I don't know. There's just, I mean, why did it happen?
It's an odd one, Boyd. It's an odd one. Listen, you had all the goals, excitement, controversy at Dingwall on Saturday. You had absolutely none of that at Pittodrie yesterday until about the 93rd minute. George Grant, penalty, terrific save by Ross Doohan. It ended Aberdeen's losing streak, but they're now living without a win.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, Roger. I thought it was a game that lacked that, a little bit of quality, shall we say, to make the difference. There was parts of it that Aberdeen, with Keskin and come off that right hand side, the runs that he made, getting in, and you think just put the ball in the back of the net, panicked, whatever, and missed. Hearts the same. They got to. I thought Onyegoku down the right hand side was decent enough. Got into plenty of positions to deliver balls, and the left hand side, Penrice and Spittle connected well, but there was really it seemed to get to an area of the pitch, and then it broke down for both teams. And then, the goal draw opportunity at the end there to go and win it. You've got to say it would have been a huge result if Hearts would have been able to, put that in the back of the net. It was actually strange with George Grant, though, because even when he missed the penalty, Doohan tipped onto the post, it came back. Yeah. It was as if he just moved out the way and let the ball go past him as well, trying to put it in the back of the net. It was quite strange, but I think for Jimmy Thelin, listen, it probably, I know it's a point, but when you've got that penalty with the last kick of the ball, it probably feels a little bit more. And from him, they go to Ibrox on Wednesday night. Rangers are in good form at home. There's no getting away from it. The Rangers' problems have been away from home, but at home they've been good. It's going to be a difficult game for them, but you can't help but look towards next weekend, Elgin in the Cup, then St Mirren the following week in the league. If it's going to turn and Aberdeen are start to get victories again, you would imagine it'll be that game against Elgin next week.
A year ago, Aberdeen had Bojan Miovski scoring goals. Hearts had Lawrence Shanklin in the middle of the greatest season of his career. Yeah. A year on, does that just show you the importance of those two players to those two teams when you see how toothless and out of sorts they are now?
Yeah, you could say that. I think when you look at both the players that you've identified there, then there were huge parts. And Craig Gordon the year before for Hearts as well, the impact that he had on that. But, goal scorers are very difficult to find. And I said that yesterday regarding Aberdeen. They've still been scoring goals. But Papi Gay's still the top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been out for months now and 5 goals. And you always kind of get when you're asking defenders to defend properly, every single game, yes, you wish that is the case. But you're going to make mistakes. You're going to concede goals, and you then are looking at a strike force that is, there's no really anybody that you think, yeah, he's an absolute certainty to score. I mean, we've seen Duke in glimpses, we've seen Nisbet in glimpses, Ambrose, he's the couple of goals. but there's no really anybody that's done it on a consistent basis, and that'll be something that Jimmy Thelin will be a little bit worried about. I know he's into the transfer market now, but I mean, even from Hearts' point of view, I like the young boy Wilson. I do. I really do like him, and I think he will have a fantastic career. But Hearts never really like anybody close enough to him yesterday to actually threaten. I mean, Aberdeen played the game with what, three, in fact maybe in four, the other change as well. Centre midfielders at centre back. They never really challenged them. So I mean, it would be a worry for Hearts that they failed to do that. But listen, for Aberdeen, there is no doubt that they need to get a victory from somewhere, because it's worrying. But you know something, I know, listen, I've given them stick, they'll give me stick, but you've got to say, fair play to the Aberdeen fans as well, because they're still turning out in their numbers. And a fantastic away support from Hearts as well. In terms of the crowd, it was absolutely freezing. Not as bad as what it was on Saturday, but the two sets of fans, came out, and although it wasn't the best of games, they made it a decent atmosphere.
I can't believe you were cold and dingled the amount of hot air there was in that Sky studio. You talk about lack of consistency.
Haley's murder, isn't she?
You talk about a lack of consistency at Aberdeen. You want consistency. What about Dundee United? Third in the league. They look cemented in third in the league. A fantastic goal by Louis to win at St Mirren.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we speak about carrying that little bit of luck, obviously the Olasanya penalty as well. But take nothing away from Dundee United. They've found a way to win another game. I mean, the amount of goals. I mean, Roger, it must be closing in a record. The amount of times that Dundee United have scored late goals to either draw a game or win a game. It's incredible.
The Aberdeen tea-time game, the Dundee derby, the one at the weekend there. I remember them getting a couple against Hibs late on. They got a couple at Rugby Park to go from 3-1 to 3-3 early in the season as well. It's fantastic. It shows you how well drilled and how fit they must be to keep going to that type of game.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Dundee United, they're not really losing a lot of games either. They're hard to beat. They're organised. I mean, we speak about, we spoke a few weeks ago about Nicholas Kuhn and his level of performances for a period of time there. And if there was, a player of the year, it would be him. You've got to say, Jim Goodwin right now. I mean, everybody was Jimmy Thelin at the start of the season for the start that he got, but Jim Goodwin has done an unbelievable job. I think because you look at Dundee United and think they're a big club, and you're expected to have been there for a long period of time. They came up from the Championship last year.
Yeah.
And to go and put on the performances they've got, the results they've got, and Jim Goodwin deserves enormous credit. The only thing I will say is, though, I just wonder what will happen, Roger, if Dalby's to go. I do. Yeah. It would be a huge blow for them. Huge blow. Because we speak about the last two there, Hearts and Aberdeen. If Dundee United have got a goal scorer. Yeah. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Hibs look as if they've rediscovered a goal scorer in Martin Boyle. 3-1 against Motherwell at the weekend. And Hibs, that team that was bottom of the league not so long ago, Boyd, they're in the top 6. Yeah,
it's incredible. What a run they've been on. David Gray's obviously, a club legend, but he'll be getting the freedom of Edinburgh shortly. I think when you look at, one defeat in 10, and that was against Celtic.
What would you do with that? Freedom of Edinburgh.
Freedom of Edinburgh.
You've got the freedom of
Freedom of Ayrshire. Freedom of Ayrshire.
That's what you're wanting.
But no, I mean, I think when you look at, when you look at Hibs, and I mean, it's not until when you look at it, when you're not following the team, you're doing them in a game, and then all of a sudden you look over the past results, and you start to actually look proper into it. The amount of times that we speak about Dundee United scoring late winners. The amount of times Hibs lost. Late goals, whether it was to draw or to lose a game, or things went against them. You think of the couple of red cards they've had as well early in the season. And I know it's difficult for a manager to come out and say, we're not far away, but it's another defeat. I feel as if I'm saying the same things, but it's another defeat. That was David Gray at the start of the season. But I have criticised Hibs. I've criticised their board, and rightly so for a period of time now. But I tell you what, you have to give them some credit now, because having stood by their manager, they're reaping the benefits of it, because it's Hibs in the past spoke about sporting success, languishing at the bottom of the table, out the cups early doors in previous years, and you now look at it and think to yourself that that they might just be onto something here, because you're getting results. But if this continues, you'd expect David Gray to then be given the opportunity to go and build another team squad in the summer and get his own boys in. There's been for far too long, and there's other clubs in Scotland that have faced the same problems, and even in England as well, bigger clubs. The same, managers have lost their job, but the players have, the players have stayed. A lot of them. It's now going to come to an end for Hibs. It'd be a good opportunity to go and build something again.
In terms of players, Boyle scoring goals. The Carden twins are doing really well in wide areas. The part of the turnaround, and I'm not laying all the credit he's doing, change goalkeeper. Jordan Smith has gone in goals. Is it all down to your old pal Craig Sampson?
Big Sammy. But the first thing he's done well with a goalkeeper, that's for sure. No, look, listen, I think that I think anybody that's worked with Craig Sampson will tell you, in terms of he's hard working, he's dedicated to his job, and he will do the best for the goal. And as you should, you're not going to cut corners, but I think when you look at the goalkeeping situation at Hibs, it wasn't great. And listen, there's probably an argument to say there still is room for improvement. There always will be. It doesn't matter who the goalkeeper is. You've always got to improve, and because if you've got someone in there who's outstanding, somebody's going to come along and take them. So you're always looking for the next goalkeeper. That's just part of it. And there is no doubt that that Hibs will be looking to strengthen in that area, I would imagine. But yes, Smith's come in, done really well. But I think Hibs they're scoring goals again. Yeah. And you always kind of looked at Hibs as a football club. When they're creating chances and scoring goals, it's a play. You always felt as if Hibs could concede goals, but because they're teams are now thinking, they're attacking, they've got good attackers, they're causing us problems. They're probably not going to Easter Road and thinking this is going to be as easy as what it's. No, it'll never be easy, but there's a chance that we could end up losing 2-3 goals here because the attacking players that Hibs have got, so they're a little bit more cautious, and that's suiting Hibs because they're not getting towards the Hibs goal very often. But listen, take nothing away from them. Terrific result, but Motherwell,
Yeah. Now listen, last but not least, Rangers St Johnstone. I'm keeping an eye on my watch here, Boydie. I don't want this go ballistic to go to 55 minutes in case you got up and walk out. But what did you make of Rangers 3, St Johnstone 1 yesterday?
Well, I think the first half Rangers got the job done. Comfortable enough within the game. Second half wasn't the performance that Philippe Clement would have been looking for. But listen, we've not learned anything different from what we've seen from Rangers for a period of time. There has been periods in games where Rangers have dominated. That was the same yesterday. Got the goals. Second half, probably a bit through the motions. St Johnstone get themselves back. There was a lot of noise at Ibrox yesterday as well in terms of the Union Bears walking out. I think the fans were very vocal towards them as well. That disconnect is there. But listen, for Philippe Clement and Rangers, you just need to keep winning games of football. You've got another chance on Wednesday night. Go and go and beat Aberdeen, see where that takes you. Then you've got a Scottish Cup game, and then there is a run of tricky away fixtures coming up. I don't think Philippe Clement will lose too much sleep about playing at Ibrox because Rangers have shown the performances, the level of performance they can get to at Ibrox. It's away from home. He doesn't need to worry about that for another week or so. He will be fully confident going to Ibrox again on Wednesday night to get 3 points, and so he should be because his team at home have been very, very good for the majority of times. But for St Johnstone, 9 points adrift now at Hearts. I think they're in big trouble for me. I just can't see them getting back into it. It's going to be very difficult. And but you dipped into the Championship at the weekend. Went to see the league leaders.
I did. Listen, yes, I like to see different teams.
If St Johnstone are gone, Falkirk's been a little bit stuttering the last couple of weeks. 2 draws.
Couple of draws, 3-3 and then 0-0, completely contrasting games. Listen, John McGlynn tells it as it is, and he thought they were a bit rusty, having not played for 15 days. They looked a bit rusty. New centre forward, Eamon Brophy, maybe not quite yet. on the same page as the wingers, etc. He's hoping it will come good. I'm hoping for a United, boy. Do you know that?
Yeah. A United fan. This is the last time I'm going to be doing this with you then. And they're surviving. Can't have that. To be fair to you, they've picked up. They've picked up the last few weeks as well. Scott Brown's managed to, a little tweak in the formation, and away they go, start winning games of football again. So, I mean, I think, when you look at, we speak about St Johnstone obviously going down, but Falkirk, I still expect them to come up. But, that championship, the top of the championship's getting a little bit, it's getting a little bit interesting again.
Yep, Livy the Thistle winning again on Friday night against Hamilton, that telly game. Boydie, once again, it's been a pleasure. I know you've got a busy week as well. Dens Park tomorrow. You've got Ibrox on Wednesday night. You can read about it all on Sunsport and Sunsport
Liverpool Saturday. It's amazing. What a life.
Goodness me. You're never in that house.
What a life.
Thanks very much, Boydie.
Cheers. Thank you.